Hi guys, welcome back to Braden's RC channel. Braden's not here, but I'm doing this video to show somebody how to set up their steering and such on it. This is the same on pretty much every ready to run RC. But basically, make sure your throttle trim is at 0. This one doesn't have a throttle trim on it, so it's always locked at 0. But if you have a throttle trim on an electric RC, you don't need your throttle trim. You just want that set at 0. Otherwise, when you turn the car on, you might not get the car. The car might alarm out because it's going into fail-safe. So just make sure your throttle trim is at 0 if you have one. And you always turn on the radio first and then your RC. All right. So we're going to start with getting our steering trim set. And you can see, hopefully you can see this, my steering trim is set to almost 2. So I'm going to just set that back to 0 just to show you. And that's how far my steering was off after adjusting the servo horn. So you set your trim at 0 on your radio, and then you pull your horn off and you rotate it until you get your wheels as close to center as you can get it. And then once you get that, then you adjust your steering trim to get your steering centered. Okay, now there's that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take and turn our steering all the way to the right. And we're going to adjust our dual rate knob. If you turn this all the way down, you got very little steering. So you crank it to the right and then crank it up until you just see the wheels stop turning. It's really hard, this knob's tiny. Okay, there it stopped. Now I'm going to back it off just until I see the wheels move. So that means I'm not overdriving that servo, which will burn that servo up. You don't want to go past the mechanical limits of your steering because your servo will always be trying to overpower your steering and it'll burn up your servo. Now you're just going to turn it to the left and you're going to repeat the process. You're going to turn the knob down. All right, now turn it back up until you see it just stop. Now back off until you see it just come out of lock right there. And there's our steering all set up. And don't ever mess with those knobs again. They're set. You might have to adjust your trim every now and then. If you're driving and you notice it's veering to the right or left a little bit, you can adjust your steering trim, but you shouldn't really have to. But that should be, and then when you turn your radio off, always turn off the truck first, or car, whatever you got, and then turn off your radio. And that should get you all set.